And welcome back to the Duff Pickem AllStars. Up there in the upper right is Groady Gloater. Up in the upper left of the Captain Americon is the Commish. The Q with the red shirt is Skinnnns. And the guy with minus 10 points already is Icehouse. I am the Orange Peanut. We are here to talk about Pick'em and ways that you might be able to win or lose money, depending on who you are looking for advice from for this in the NFL 2024 Week 6 season. And so let's talk a little bit about last week because, man, last week was a little bit of a roller coaster in a couple of games. Starting with the commish, was there a particular game that you thought was interesting and why?
Yeah. The only game that I really was shocked about, actually, I didn't see it, but I will say, I guess two. The Bengals losing to Baltimore on what seemed to be like we had a giant turnover, and while they trusted McPherson's foot, they did nothing to get closer, and then a high snap, a bobbled bring down caused them to lose that game. Like that was absolutely shocking. And then because of the rain delay or lightning delay, I didn't get to see much of Dallas and Pittsburgh. Um, I think when I went to bed, Dallas was winning 6-3, I believe was the score. I don't know. I woke up and found out that Dallas ended up pulling off a win on a fourth down play, touchdown. And to be honest, that was a bit shocking considering Pittsburgh's defense has been pretty damn good. Those are the only two games on my end that I was a bit shocked about.
That makes sense there. Grody, do you have a game that was shocking or interesting to you?
Yeah, the London game. I mean, obviously they fucking fired Robert Saleh today, which he's not the problem. I mean, I watched Aaron Rodgers for years.
Way to,
Terrified the
way to
guy.
take my Monday night talking point.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, no, yeah, he looked bad in that game. I mean, I was like, man, I picked the Jets because I was like, Aaron Rodgers has played Minnesota so much. He knows that. Obviously, maybe not the coordinators that are there now, but he knows the team because there's still a lot of guys there. And yeah, that was probably the most shocking to me is just how terrible he looked.
Yeah, I would agree with that there. That'll be a point worth bringing up again, Commish. Icehouse, any game shock you or interest you over the weekend?
Well, it figures the one time I go against KC, they finally actually score some fucking points against the team. Every other game this season, they're like, oh, we'll just squeak by. This time they're like, oh no, we're gonna win outright. They're like, don't worry about us.
The Saints
Yeah,
really
fucking
did
Kansas.
kind of lean over and get spanked by KC. That was an outrageous game. Skins, any game interest you over the weekend? I can imagine one game that probably interests you greatly over the weekend.
Oh, well, I got two now. If you're going to mention the Commanders,
I have to.
I think we can all expect them to win by 20 points every week from here on out now. So, spoiler, they're playing the Ravens this week. Commanders 105, Ravens -6. But the Thursday night, I really thought I had that Bucks pick under wraps, and it was looking pretty decent. They were going into the fourth with the lead, and 10 minutes left. Bucks had it 30-27, and then Younghoe Koo kicks another 50-pluser with 1 second left to take him to overtime. And then you got Kadarrell Hodge coming in for his one play of the year, and he takes it to the house.
Yeah.
So that was going the way I kind of thought it was, keeping it close. Had the Bucks getting a couple points, but it did not turn out to be.
Yeah, the Browns Washington game was what I had on. Two things with it. Washington looks great. Everything about Washington looks great. Found out they currently have the most amount of plays in an NFL football team due to the no huddle offense that they've been utilizing in a large number of plays action. So all of Washington kind of is like your play Washington players. They are clearly running more plays than any other team right now. But the Browns, God, Amari Cooper has been determined today that 60% of all the passes that have been thrown to him have been deemed uncatchable. Just stop it. Just stop it at this point. Cut off your leg and let Deshaun go. You might bleed out for a while. That's okay. Put an iron on it. That'll cauterize the wound, and you could be a pirate. But dear
How much are
God,
they paying him? Isn't that a fully guaranteed chunk of money?
$230 million contract.
It's like the
$130
five
million.
of us won't make our lifetime combined. Yeah, they're not gonna let him go. It's not happening.
I don't know. And then Njoku is out again. I'm sorry, Browns. Your offense is embarrassing.
What they need to do is Deshaun Watson needs to have a shoulder injury, and then put Jameis Winston in, and just see how that goes.
Yes.
At least try to scrap something for the year.
Agree. So let's get into what happened in our pick'ems last week. Commissioner, do you have any stats on what happened during week 5?
Yeah, Eric led the week with 59 points. Tommy right behind him at 58. Then me with 52. Kevin with 47. Boss with 46. And JV, you and Stan both had 35 points each. We all got Tampa Bay wrong. Tommy was the only one who had Carolina. All of us had Chicago. Tommy and I were the only two that wished that that Holder would have put that ball down smooth for Cincinnati. But Tommy and I were the only two that had faith in Miami. We all had Washington, which, at this point against, a hapless Cleveland team definitely made sense. There was a push between Jacksonville and Indianapolis, costing John his max points. I was correct, and the only one that stuck with Houston beating Buffalo. But then I got not creative, but I was looking for the afternoon games so far on the season, stats wise. The afternoon games are about 50% favorite, so I picked 2 favorites and 2 underdogs, and I picked the wrong 2 favorites and the wrong 2 underdogs, as it was Denver and Green Bay as your favorites, and Arizona and the G-Men as the underdogs for that. And then I think that's it. Yeah, I was the only one that got Las Vegas wrong. Or should have had faith in Denver. Yeah, the second push of the season there was 2, 4, 6, 8 favorites as the correct and 5 underdogs, bringing the season total to 38 favorites, 38 underdogs, and 2 pushes.
So rather even with that one there. Nice pick on that one, Groady, for the G-Men.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was the only one that had the Giants.
Yeah, I was really laughing at him for that too.
Well, here's the funny part. Halfway through that game, I thought I had the Seattle, so when the Giants started winning, I was like, "Fuck!"
So, on the 5 weeks into the season, Kevin remains in the lead with 368 points. I'm not too far behind with 340. Eric with 314. Boss with 289. Stan with 272. JV with 246. And Tommy trying to catch up to you, John, with 238. Only 8 points behind you.
Gosh, and Tommy has like a handicap where he misses the first few games of the week sometimes because of work and his
Tommy
schedule.
has like 8 less picks than you at least.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I need to rearrange my thought process here. Maybe have an opposites day or something like that coming up. I don't know. We want to.
John, you missed out on 2 weeks when you should have had opposite day.
Yeah.
No
kidding.
See if I can.
My thing is,
right, this is the week, John. Opposite day. Do it. The only way to save yourself
is in third.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, John, the previous 3 weeks, well, maybe not this week per se, but the 2 previous weeks prior, you had 26 and 29 points. Opposite day, you would have killed it.
Man, oh man, yeah.
Good. Opposite time this week, and then all his picks are going to be wrong.
Yep. Want to make sure that we raise a glass to Sippy Cup. He cannot be here because of work, and today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Sippy Cup. We miss you here. But by de facto, the win goes to the Commish for this one here. Congratulations, Commish. You're going to be you seem to have a pretty steady strategy with that. Is this a strategy you could recommend to other people?
No.
Well, there you have it.
Well, I
So,
mean,
go fuck
you
yourself.
can.
Get out of my
Maybe
business.
if you're gonna bet 16 games a week, but that's not something most
Yeah.
people do. But I guess maybe it could work.
I would say if you want to keep your own spreadsheet, by all means, go for it. That's the strategy that I've imposed.
It does seem
It's
that you
just sort
apply
of
a lot of dedication to that as well, which seems to be helping.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've only had 8 spreads between 7.5 and 10, and only one of them has panned out so far.
Mm.
That was the big one. And then the other thing that's been sort of an inverse of last year was Monday night last year, the favorites were terrible. I think in total it was 5 out of 18 games. This year they've already gotten to 5 out of 7 as the favorites.
Gotcha there.
So let's see if that's 5 out of 19 all of last season.
That's something. Yeah, it does seem to be a little bit of the NFL seems drunk in the early parts of this year. We'll see if it can unstupefy itself during parts of this. Let's start by beginning with the commish, who gets to pick 2 games. His first game he chose to pick as his. I actually want to read the text message that he sent directly with that one. Was the Thursday night football Gold Diggers visiting Geno's East. That just I was at work and I laughed pretty hard with that in front of a bunch of people. So my spreads indicate that the Gold Diggers are 3.5-point favorites. What do you know, Commish?
Well, they are division rivals. They've met each other 52 total times. Seahawks currently lead the series 30-22. Although they are currently on a 5-game losing streak against the San Francisco 49ers, which doesn't bode well for them. Seems to be ever since Russell Wilson left, the Seahawks can't beat the 49ers. Thursday night, Seattle is 11-9 all time. San Francisco is 14-9-1 all time. So who's going to get their 10th loss first? That'll be the interesting thing on the short season so far. As San Francisco is going to give the defense of Seattle a run for their money, as they are second in total yards per game at 418. And a lot of it is through the ground as they rank 7th with 144 yards per game, which will put a test to those Seattle Seahawks as they're giving up 128th and ranked 20th on the short season. They rank 7th and 5th in sacks, San Francisco and Seattle respectively. And given their rushing, although it's only 7th, they are first in time of possession. San Francisco is at 34 minutes holding onto the ball, whereas Seattle holds on to it for just less than half a game at 29 minutes and 19 seconds. I don't know. This is a tough one. I feel like I would feel differently if there was not a streak going on, but 3.5 going to San Fran. San Fran's been able to play without Christian McCaffrey, who apparently has tendonitis in both of his legs.
It's like between the legs.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's not good. Apparently, and I guess one was exasperated by the other because he had whatever was hurting him in his one leg. It made the other leg work harder, and so it's the reason why he still hasn't played a snap this far.
Not great, Bob.
So
that man to stop walking.
Right, but it is 3.5. They are division rivals. I'm inclined to. Although I don't know, I can't. You know what? No, I'm gonna go with San Francisco for 8 points. Looking at the last 5 games of a winning streak for San Francisco, the closest game was 8 points. Everything else has been double digits.
Oh, geez. That's a good way to put it. All right. 8 points for San Francisco.
Yeah.
Moves down to Groady. What do you have to say about that? Any rebuttals?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Besides the 5-game winning streak, in the 5 games, San Francisco scored 148 in points, and Seattle's at 72. So they've literally doubled. So Seattle's going to score 20, San Fran in a sense to say that since they've doubled in those 5 games, obviously Joe said the closest being 8, but still, you look at that, doubling their points in those 5 games. So yeah, I got to take San Fran and I got 6 points on it.
Another San Fran pick with that there. Icehouse.
I want to take Seattle, but that spread is just too small. Brock Purdy hasn't exactly been killing it the last 2 games, but to the tune of 3.5. You know what? I'm gonna go with 4 points on San Fran.
4 points on San Fran. Skinnnns.
Yeah, Seattle's played probably the 4 worst teams so far this year, minus Detroit in their 5 games. Denver, New England, Miami. I think that was the one when Tua went out.
Yeah.
Or the one after.
Tua went out against Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So the week after, yeah, they've so the only good team they've played, Detroit Lions, they gave up 42 to them. And then another good point I wanted to bring up about the Niners is they 13 red zone trips this year, I believe, and they've only scored a touchdown in 4 of them. So
Wow.
if they scored even a few more on those other ones, they'd probably be 5-0. So Seattle isn't anything for them to be scared of. Divisional game will be a little tough, but I think San Francisco's got enough to put it together. So I'm going to put 12 on them.
12 on San Francisco.
That goes to show you the McCaffrey effect. I guarantee you, if they had him, those red zone trips, they definitely get more touchdowns.
Makes sense. Being that it's divisional, being that it's Seattle, and being that it's not a very high point spread for this year, I'm going to sheepishly put 3 points on Seattle for this one. See if that leads to something for that. Although I think you're all, for the most part, correct. I think the 12th man might have something to say about a divisional rival game. It's usually harder to play in Seattle. Going down the list right here. Next, we've got Groady going to be talking about the Chicago Bears going down to Jacksonville to maybe have a game in Florida if it lasts through Milton. Or no, it's backwards. Do I have that backwards?
The game is in London.
They're in London.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you don't have a hurricane to worry about, Jacksonville. You get to watch from afar how that happens. Yes, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Bears going to Bears going to UK for that one to play Jacksonville. Bears are 2.5 point favorites. What do you know about the game, Groady?
So they've only met 8 times. Bears lead the series 5-3. This game being in London, it technically is supposed to be a Bears home game, but obviously it's in London. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I can't think of the word, but they're going to London all the time. No, they're making trips out there. They've gone 11 times. They're 6-5. The Bears, on the other hand, have only gone twice, and they're 1-1. Their one win came against the Bucks. Their last loss was in 2019 to the Raiders. But this being a home game, I mean, obviously, luckily for the Bears, it doesn't really count as a home game because they do right now currently have the longest, or not say the longest, but the current home winning streak, which is at 8 games now with their win against Carolina. If I would have known that last week, I definitely would have, made sure to make that a point that they were at the time at a 7-game winning streak. So that's at 8. Obviously, it's not at home, but if it was, I definitely would still be picking the Bears. But Jacksonville's a mess. I mean, the fact that they barely beat the Colts, and I get that, Joe Flacco is a more confident quarterback than Anthony Richardson. 2.5 point spread. I definitely think the Bears, even if it did come down to a field goal like it did last week and Jacksonville won, I think the Bears could definitely, if it comes down to a field goal, can kick it and win. I mean, the good news for them is, I don't know if you guys know this, but Ghostbuster Bill Murray came into the game last week when Tevin Jenkins got hurt and was a rock star at left guard. No, the funny thing is his name is Bill Murray, but he actually graded out really well. So they'll probably be without him. The other thing that kind of sucks too is Jaquan Brisker didn't travel because the Bears are already there. They're already in London. Jacksonville should probably just stay there because I think this game and their next game are both in London. So they have the next 2 weeks to be there. So I'm hoping they lose. I got 13 points, and I'm putting it on the Bears.
13 points on. Yeah, it is kind of funny that Chicago is the home team when Jacksonville is actually kind of really the home team. That's event here. That's pretty interesting. Icehouse, any rebuttals?
I did hear something interesting today. Caleb Williams is the first Bears rookie quarterback to have 2 300-yard games in a season. I'm like, that's just fucking pathetic. I mean, I know they don't generally play rookies, so we're only going back probably like maybe 3 or 4 rookie quarterbacks for the Bears that probably had, a legit shot at having 2 300-yard games. But it's like, it's 2.
Yeah.
You're not asking for the world there, man.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
Yeah.
funny. I was like, holy shit. I mean, it doesn't make him, anoint him the savior or nothing, but it just like, well, it certainly helps that, like we can knock down one more pathetic fucking thing off our list.
Yeah, it's okay. When the list is low, we get to improve, as we want to with that.
So I'm taking, I got 10 on the Bears. I'm feeling pretty
10.
good about this game.
10 on them Bears. Skinnnns.
Give me 6 on the home team, Jacksonville Jaguars.
6 on the home team, Jacksonville Jaguars. I really do kind of hate doing this because I like my Bears, and I honestly think they're going to win. And I think I should put it on Chicago because that makes more sense. Hell, 75% of everybody is putting it on Chicago. Let's hope I'm wrong. Or, yeah, max points on Miles Jack. Oh, boy. That will probably bite me in the ass. Joe, I expect something next week on just, we told you it was opposite day. There we go. Thanks.
Pick so far.
Commish, what do you got?
Well, I'm gonna go. I got 13 on Chicago. But one of the other big stats is the Bears are currently riding an 11 game. We have not given up more than 20 or 21 point streak. So defense has been playing outstanding for the last 11 games. I don't imagine it will change that much. So yeah, 13 on Chicago.
13 on Chicago for that. Good deal. And you know what? In some ways, I was just thinking in my head just right now. I was like, oh, the jackhammer. Good old Jack Sandberg still plays for the Bears. But I think I might think to myself, I might curse everybody if I go for Chicago and then all of a sudden we lose. This way, if Chicago wins, then, well, I'm still a happy person. That's still a win for that. So I'll go on that route there. Icehouse, you are going to talk about a game I was actually thinking of talking of myself, but you took it ahead of me, and then thought to yourself, darn it, I chose the wrong game for this, which was funny to me.
No,
Eagles
versus one of my talking points.
Eagles versus the Browns in Philadelphia, and the Eagles are heavily favored at minus 8.5. What do you know about this game?
Well, as Tommy pointed out, the Eagles are going to win. So it doesn't matter.
Yes.
The Eagles coming off their bye week, so it's like, they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith returning. And, the Browns are just off the fucking Browns. They're still throwing Deshaun Watson out there, so it's like, yeah, okay. Keep on Brownsing, I guess.
Say that's a word.
I mean,
it's a word.
Well, we're gonna make it one.
Yeah.
Let's see. They got the Browns are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games. So it's like, yeah, both signs point to the Browns will Brown. So let me see. How many points? I mean, it is kind of a big spread, but I'm gonna go with 8 on Philly. It is at Philly, so they get that. Us Philly fans could be a lot of fun. I'm sure they'll give Deshaun Watson business.
Yeah, real quick before we I just remembered something else. The Bears are currently 3-0 as the favorites this year against the spread.
All right. Better reason for me to pick them, but I'm not going to. I don't want to set off any bad juju or anything like that. All right, so we got 8 points on Philly to the Skinnnns. Your rebuttal.
Well,
Washington needs to win the division, so Philly's going to lose.
yes, that's exactly what's going to happen.
There you go, Stan. I got it for you.
I do.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, getting their receivers back is huge. Because without them, without AJ Brown, they were like low teen points the last couple weeks. And before that, they put up 34 against Green Bay and 21 against the Falcons. Philly did that is so, and the Browns haven't topped. They probably haven't topped 15 points all year. I'm not even gonna look. So the spread does confuse me because Philly does like to choke. So, but you just can't put money on the Browns. So I'm gonna take Philly, but I'm just gonna put 4 on them.
4 on Philly. I agree with everything that you all said. Browns, get rid of Deshaun Watson. My God. And yeah, with the wide receivers coming back, look to see Philadelphia playing at home and impressing their fans with a nice, boring game where they probably win like 40-5. Browns, dead last place when it comes to yards per game. Dead last place in third down conversions. They're dead last in so many things. It's awful. It's so bad. I'm going to put 13 points on Philadelphia. That's how much I think the Browns are going to get decimated in this game. Fix your damn stuff, Haslam.
Browns have scored between 13 and 18 every game this year. They haven't made it out of the end.
Probably their kicker doing most of that work. Commish.
Yeah, it's the highest spread, so I've got probably 1 point on the game. Yeah. Oh no, it's not the highest.
Oh,
that's right. I left. Oh no, I put 1 on Pittsburgh Vegas because it's still listed as off. So I used 2 points on this game. It'll probably end up being 1 point. But yeah, I got Philly because I can't trust Cleveland at all.
It's bad.
You just can't.
I mean, Amari Cooper is talking about trading himself back or getting traded back to the Cowboys. It's that bad.
I could even see him wanting to go to the Raiders.
No, it's between Chiefs and Cowboys in rumor discussion. Nothing official for that. But still, can you blame him? I can't. Groady.
Yeah, I got 1 point on the game. I mean, the even crazier part about this is last year with Joe Flacco. If it wasn't for the fact that Joe Burrow was hurt, they were talking about how that whole division, the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens could have potentially made it to the playoffs if Joe Burrow, doesn't get injured. And now you look at the Browns just doing classic Browns, thing, make it to the playoffs, and then just fucking suck the next year. So, yeah.
Yeah, 1 point on Philly. I take it that's where you're tossing it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really missed out on the whole Flacco thing. He's doing very well right now. He's not a solution, but he is not the solution, but he is a solution for Indy right now, which is interesting. Skinnnns wants to talk about his Washington Commanders headed over into the Badlands, into the hard lands, really, for the Baltimore Ravens. And as it is right now, the Ravens are 6.5-point favorites against the Commanders. What do you know about this game, Skinnnns?
Yeah, we got some 6.5-point favorites and one of the top favorite teams to win the Super Bowl this year with an MVP quarterback. And then you have them going against the Ravens.
Yeah. I was just like, okay. Cue the, boots. That's some bullshit talk right there.
Wow. Yeah, there's the crickets.
I should have had the crickets ready to go.
Thanks the way timed
The Ravens have given up the least rushing yards against per game, and the Commanders have the second most rushing yards per game. Granted, a lot of that is counted as Jaden Daniels scrambling. If you get rid of the scrambling, the Ravens are still number one in the league against running backs or designed runs. And I think what the Commanders need to not do is try to not start series with, Brian Robinson, rush, pass. You don't want to give Jaden Daniels these long third downs. The Ravens pride themselves on getting off to hot starts and being able to salt the game away with Derrick Henry. So if you let the Ravens get up big, it's probably will not be a pretty day for Jaden Daniels. But that's easier said than done because the Ravens are first in yards per game, 10th in pass yards, and first in rushing yards per game. Surprisingly, Washington's defense is not bottom of the league this year. They are sitting around 20th, maybe 25th, depending on which metrics you're using. But that's not the same for the Ravens. The Ravens are first in rushing yards against per game, like I said. They're 13th in interceptions, 7th in sacks. They are killing in time of possession at third. So what do you do when you have a crappy defense against a really good offense? You take the crappy defense and you put max points on them.
We knew that was coming. Knew that was coming for that one. All right, so max points on Washington. Another interesting stat that I heard about today that may make this game actually really worth watching, besides the fact that both these teams are actually really good right now, is that both of these teams are in the top 3 rankings for most amount of plays per game. Baltimore likes to do a lot of no-huddle offensing. They don't like to mess around. They are, I guess the right way to phrase it, neither of these teams are very methodical. They're going more for like the quantity of plays over not necessarily over quality, but just larger quantity of plays, faster play action, which in my opinion makes for a more fun game to watch. The Dallas Cowboys, Seattle Seahawks are also very high up on that list in terms of the number of plays that get run within a game. It's a surprising one to do. Yeah, Skins, I agree with everything that you say, but at the same exact time, I think Washington's defense is definitely going to be a challenge to stop King Henry. He just looks so good every single time that he runs, surprisingly. I mean, he doesn't even look like he's trying hard all that much in some cases. Like he's just jogging, taking a jog for 90 yards. So I'm going to put 8 points on the core for that. Skinnnns.
Not Skinnnns.
Or excuse me, Commish.
Commish. Well, I think if Washington's defense can even remotely come close to doing what Cincinnati's did to Derrick Henry, because he had nothing up until that 41-yard sprint in overtime. He had 50 yards on the day. They had stymied him. They figured out how to stuff him. So Washington's got a good blueprint to go off of. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that Baltimore's defense is that great. I think Jaden Daniels can keep it close. I got 4 points on Washington.
I would agree with that as well. Jaden Daniels keeps it exciting, and Baltimore will be working hard to try and contain him, if they even can. Groady.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree. I mean, whether Baltimore wins this by a field goal like they did last week, or somehow Washington surprises and upsets them and wins, I put more of it on the offense keeping it closer than the defense. I mean, obviously you can see what happened in the Bengals-Ravens game. So, yeah, I got 5 points on the Commanders to keep it close.
So we got 5, 4, and 16 on the max points, 14 on the Commanders. I've got 8 on Baltimore. Icehouse.
Yeah, I'm taking 6 on the Commanders.
6 on the Commanders.
I thought maybe Cleveland's D would have pressured Daniels enough to rattle him, but if they didn't do it, well, I don't see Baltimore's D doing anything better, so fuck it.
Cleveland's D just straight out looked tired. Yeah, I think Cleveland's defense was probably on that field for easily 75% of the game. I mean, the offense is turning it over like crazy, and the Commanders are just like offensive people in terms of just like how much they keep the plays going. It's a very very good high point scoring game. Okay, good. I'm here to talk about what I've been calling the turkey game in my head. This is Dallas hosting Detroit Lions. The silver and blue meet with the blue and silver. This might be an interesting game to watch for a couple of reasons. First of all, Dallas and Detroit don't, Dallas in particular does not necessarily have the strongest of running games. I mean, you got Dowdle there a little bit. Ezekiel Elliott, I guess, exists, but their run game is not exactly stellar. So they've been throwing the ball a lot. Detroit has one of the best run defenses in the NFL, so they don't like being run on, nor will they be run on by such lowly people in Dallas. And so I don't think there's going to be a lot of running happening in this game. The over under is set at 52 and a half right now. And that's pretty high. I expect that to probably be there. I expect some Dallas on top of that also happens to have one of the worst run defense, and Detroit is good at running the ball, like really good at running the ball. They can pass, they can run. Dallas can throw, but they can't really run. And well, not nor would they run with it. So I think you're going to see a lot of passing happening within this game on the Dallas side of the fence, and a good mixture of it on Detroit's side. 3.5 point favorites leading Detroit's way for the Sunday afternoon game, and currently 72% of everybody is picking Detroit. The two teams don't really have the strongest. I think they've got like a 19. What do I have here? Like something like 19. 19 and 12 Cowboys are leading, so they haven't met like a truckload of times. Don't have a ton of history or anything like that. I am going to think that Detroit, as the more well-balanced team, is going to take the victory in this game against Dallas, and I'm going to put 9 points on Detroit. Commish.
Yeah, I also have Detroit, and I have them for 9 as well.
9 points from Detroit. Groady?
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit. Can't trust Dallas right now, so I got 7 points.
7 points, Detroit. Icehouse.
I'm gonna go with Detroit for 9. I'll keep this streak going.
You keep a streak going. Everyone's going 9 on Detroit. Skinnnns. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
this
Skinnnns. You got Dallas
this
or
is going to
Detroit.
be an all Detroit game. They've scored 20 or more in 4 of their 5 games, and Dallas has scored 21 or less in 4 of their 5. Sorry, 3 of their 5. So and those were against shit teams. So I think we all got a consensus on Detroit to do it. I don't like the 3 spread because we might have a push like we did with Jacksonville last week. Yeah. The spread of 3 always scares me, but I still like Detroit going much more. So I'm going to put an 8 and go against my.
I also like that Dallas on the season is winless at home.
Yes.
Come on, Stan, you gotta go 9. Get it on the 9.
Get on the 9s.
Don't go in between.
Oh wait,
One of us.
One of us.
Yeah, one of us.
No, you see, I like to play the middle. That way I can get in on both sides.
Oh, I see.
What's that funny quote?
Through middleman for that. Well, let's raise our glasses again to the Commish for winning it on the week. Well done, Commish. He's going to talk about the Let's Go Buffalo squad going down to play, I believe, against the New York Jets at home with whoever is running their team now. What do you know about the game, Commish?
Let's see. Hang on. Reopen that tab.
Bills 2.5. Bills 2-point favorite.
Oh yeah, I know. And they're heading east, not south. Buffalo is west of New York.
Oh,
they are in the same state. It's a cross-state battle. So on the early season, the Buffalo Bills are currently in first place at 3-2, coming off a tough loss to Houston. Whereas the New York Jets are coming off a very predictable loss to the much better Minnesota Vikings, but they're in second place in the division at 2-3. In their storied history, they've met each other 127 times. Buffalo currently leads the series 69-58. If they had any will at all, or if they had any sense of humor at all, Buffalo would lose just so they'd stay at 69 wins. They've the last 5 matchups have gone loss, win, loss, win, loss for New York and Buffalo. So the last matchup, New York lost 32-6. Which if the trend were to continue, it looks like Buffalo would be on the losing end of this one. However, as you mentioned, they did fire their head coach today, Robert Saleh. The defensive coordinator will be the interim head coach. There's also massive rumors swirling about Davante Adams coming to join this team. Now, I don't know if that'll happen this week or not, as the cap space needed to get Davante Adams is somewhere around, I think it's like $13 million, but every week leading up to the trade deadline, it'll go down by almost $1 million. The problem there is that he's going to be coming into a team that, offensively is dysfunctional. It wasn't Robert Saleh's fault. It's Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, which I just saw a report that said prior to being fired today, Robert Saleh was considering firing offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett.
That's a better solution.
Damn
so
it!
that's a little
Too slow.
Yeah, that's a right. He's about to fire the guy, and he got canned instead. Now, the other thing I saw, because he is available and he is not coaching any team, the New York Jets have the chance to do the funniest thing ever, and that's hire Bill Belichick.
Heard that.
I don't think
heard
that'll
that
happen.
one, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, but it'll be funny as hell.
Oh, please, God,
Buffalo,
football.
right? Buffalo as a team is 20-29 on Monday Night Football games. The New York Jets have a 24-37 Monday Night Football record. Josh Allen is 4-5 in his Monday Night career, and Aaron Rodgers is 13-9. I feel like last week a lot of you guys thought that Buffalo's previous loss was going to invigorate them to win. Certainly didn't invigorate Josh Allen, as he went 9 for 30 in that game, which is worse than Deshaun Watson.
Shots fired!
I was to say, this time around with the trending Monday Night Pick'em spreads, or not spreads, but the favorite being the overall, and Buffalo being favored by 2.5 in this, even though today they're listed as off in Yahoo. But I got 10 points, and I'm throwing them Buffalo's way. I think they hand the Jets, and even if it's a field goal to win, that'll cover for that.
Makes sense. So 10 points on Let's Go Buffalo from the Commish, and excellent stats with that.
Yeah, I definitely think that it definitely wasn't Robert Saleh's fault. I mean, obviously, definitely the defense wasn't playing up to what it should have been, but yeah, the offense is terrible. Like that, there's in recent years, it's just been a weird trend where teams fire a head coach and then they win the next game. And then the other thing too is I really am kind of scared for Josh Allen. He got knocked out in that game, and they put him back in. Now in the Bears game, the tight end got knocked out as well. Like the minute it happened, I called it. I was like, that dude is out, and he was out for the rest of the game. And I get that Josh Allen is a tough son of a bitch, but he needed to be out for the rest of the game. And I don't think that they're taking care of him. I hope they are. If they were, I think he should be sitting in this game. I don't know how well he's going to play because of that, because he didn't even look that good after he came in after that. So I got 11 points. I'm going to throw him on the Jets. Probably not a good decision, but I don't know. Teams have a weird way of winning after firing their head coaches, but they're a bad team. I don't know why I'm picking them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you say there. Yeah. Icehouse.
Yeah, I heard something along the, basically saying it's like after that hit Josh Allen took, he didn't have another completion for the rest of the game. So it was like, eesh. That's no good, man.
No.
So 13 points on the Jets. Because I agree, it's like there's some stupid reason they fire the coach and everyone rallies together, and between those two things, it's like, yeah, what the hell? Give me the Jets.
Yep.
Doesn't
No,
make
that
any
makes
sense, but fuck it, I don't care.
sense. Makes sense. Skinnnns.
Well, I always like to end my week big, so I'm going to put a tenner on it. And a lot of those reasons, these Jets are going to want to rally. I just saw some tweet from Mike Evans quoting Adam Schefter that Devontae Adams was traded to the Jets 3 hours ago, but I can find nothing else. So I don't know who the heck why he's doing this. So whatever. But even if that happens during this week, I mean, it's better than any random receiver going or good receiver, just signing with the team during the week. But at least they have that connection. So there could be. It would cut out a little bit of having to learn some of the playbook because they could probably just talk in the huddle, hey, do this. But either way, I think the Jets are going to want to rally. Whether it lasts for the whole season, I don't think it will. But at least this week it will. And knowing Josh Allen is one hit away from not coming back into the game, I think that those guys are going to be gunning for him. And I like the Jets this week for 10.
The other thing I read earlier was I forget how. I think they were talking about the targets to Garrett Wilson by Aaron Rodgers, and I forget how many of them there are in total. I don't recall the number, but more than half of them were uncatchable.
Oh, really?
Also, I pulled this
Fire
up.
Salah.
Yeah, right. I found this. Since 2000, NFL coaches fired mid-season have seen their former teams go 16-21 in the first game after their departure. So not an overwhelming amount of victories.
Is that straight up, though? Because you got to imagine they're kind of crappy teams. So they probably were underdogs to begin with.
That's true.
The only reason I say this because I would say, I mean, I would look at the ones in the recent, because I know with the Raiders, that's what happened. They fired what's his name, and then fucking immediately the next week they won.
So I've got to put some points.
I don't know. I just, it's from
another
good
stat.
Yeah,
another
that is a good
metric
stat
to think about.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and I would think that that's probably more of the case. How can a team convert so much of all that they've learned and whatnot in just 1 week? There's likely other problems with the Jets and their offensive coordinator.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You fired a defensive-minded head coach, replaced him with an interim the defensive coordinator. You didn't solve the problem at all.
Right.
The problem's Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Buffalo's defense can even remotely get to him, he is not mobile. He said after the game that he's pretty beat up and he sprained his ankle in that game. So if they can get to him pressure-wise, he's not going anywhere. And I don't see that offense moving.
Yeah.
I forgot about that sprained ankle.
If the Browns are gonna Browns, the Jets are gonna Jets. Okay, things never change. It's just gosh. you gotta leave it be. It's like, hey, we have a way of doing things.
Yeah,
and it will never change.
One thing that has been very active.
What you doing?
So this was on the opposite side of the spectrum, that there were there were 3 teams in particular that are very much so more methodical with plays. They have fewer plays per games. They don't tend to rush anything. They tend to think and be more precise through there. Those 3 teams are the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and currently at the very bottom of the list is Los Angeles Chargers. And I think with Buffalo, really, you look at that passing game of theirs, and it's really struggled this year. I don't see a lot of passing happening with. And granted, when Josh Allen got knocked, that's one thing. But even as a whole, in a lot of these games, Buffalo is still a good offense. Their passing game will probably be challenged here by the Jets. However, so I've got to pick one team to rally. I agree with everything that you guys said. I was actually going to side with the Jets on this one. I think I'm going to switch Honestly, I'm not quite sure which one of these guys to go with here. I'm going to go Buffalo, and I am also going to put a $1 on Let's Go Buffalo. Is what I'll have
I'm
there.
on the opposite side of John. This is good.
It's not that
Yes, I'm
way.
loving it. It's like Jim's putting up big numbers and all these bad picks.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I'm going back over to the Jets now.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go Buffalo.
Just
Wickety
because
wick.
you change your pick, it doesn't mean it will change destiny.
Oh, man, I don't have the helmet here as of right now for that one, though. So maybe the Jets coach will help solve something. Probably not. It's time for quick picks. Time for quick picks. Time for quick picks. Quick picks. Commish. We got Green Bay hosting. Wow. What do you got there, Commish?
Back over to that page. Let's see. I'm taking Arizona for 6.
Arizona for 6. Groady.
I got 3 on Green Bay.
3 on the cheese. Icehouse.
Arizona 5.
Arizona 5. Skinnnns.
Arizona 7.
Arizona 7. And I will be doing Green Bay 4-5 for that.
For you Arizona guys.
Yeah, right.
Tyler Murray just signed a deal with Call of Duty, so not showing up.
Oh,
Call of
Yeah.
Duty doesn't come out until later this month.
I know, but he just signed a deal with them for something. I forget what it was saying. So yeah, his mind's elsewhere.
Fine. Him and Marvin Harrison can lose by 3.
Groody, you've got Indy going to Tennessee.
I got 14 points on Joe Flacco's couch.
Oh, no. It's on the Flacco. Icehouse.
Yeah, I got a dozen on Flacco. I mean,
Dozen
you know what?
on
Why not?
Flacco. Oh my gosh, Skinnnns.
Well, let's see. Yeah, Tennessee, Will Levis. I mean, the guy can't keep a
Mason
game
Rudolph. They're
within
not
3
playing Will
points,
Levis
much
anymore.
less 1 point. So yeah, give me Flacco for 5.
Flacco 4-5. I'll do Flacco for 7. Commish.
I got 14 points on Will Levis making another meme-worthy gesture during the game, but my pick is for Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you did there.
That was good. That was very good. That was very good. All right, going to Icehouse. You have Houston going to Foxborough to play New England.
Max points on Houston because, yeah, Drake May is garbage.
Oh boy, yes, sir, boy. Okay, Skinnnns.
I mean, maybe he's not, but he doesn't have anyone to throw to, so it doesn't matter.
I
Greatest
kind of
quarterback
like
ever with no one to throw
I
to.
like Drake May, and you get
You
a rookie
would.
You can
QB, you
take
might
him.
get a little rally.
You would.
Texans are banged up. No Mixon, no Nico Collins. So give me.
Hey, Nico
I'm going to take
Collins
New
isn't out
England, but I'm
yet.
putting a 3 on it.
3 on there. Interesting. The weather forecast for this game calls for rain, so it's going to be a wet game, defensive game. I'm going to go New England and Drake May, but I'm only going to put a deuce. Commish.
It's going to come down to the running game. I don't know New England's running backs, and neither do they. So I got 3 points on Houston.
You said got it there, Groady.
I'm dropping a deuce on the Texans.
Poopy on the tail. Yeah, right. That's awesome. There's Skinnnns. You have Derek Carr and his Nolan Saints hosting Laser Mayfield.
Well, Derek Carr is out. So we got either that rookie or if Taysom Hill can be healthy, we'll see. Luckily, this game is in New Orleans and not Tampa because they would have had to move it to New Orleans, probably anyways.
Yeah.
But give me, what's the spread sitting at? Yahoo has it off.
See, I'm trying to pull it up as right now.
It's like Bucks minus 3.5. So Bucks are favored by a chunk now.
Bucks are favored 3.5.
Yeah, it looks like it started off 2.5 New Orleans, but with no Derek Carr, that rookie looked meh. Taysom Hill can only do so much, so give me the Bucks with shoot, I got a 9 on the Bucks.
9 on the Bucks. Instead of wisely putting his 9 on Detroit, he trusts the Buccaneers. That's okay. I'm also going to go with at home at Baker for a 10 spot. Commish.
I got 12 on Tampa Bay.
12 on Tampa Bay. Groady.
You know, the mess that is New Orleans, I don't think without a QB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 12 on Baker Mayfield.
12 on Baker. We're all going Baker Mayfield. Icehouse, do you want an insurance plan?
No, I'm going with Tampa Bay, but I don't live there, so I don't need insurance.
Oh, Baker would sell that.
At home with Baker. Which was for insurance.
Yep. How many points you putting on Tampa Bay?
No points for the insurance joke because Tampa Bay's about to get fucked by a giant ass Category 5 hurricane.
That is true. Everyone's going to have Baker Mayfield.
God, I'm over here throwing, on fire.
12 points.
And you're going right over your head. No wonder I never get any goddamn points in this game.
But you boys as a writer. You're in second place right now.
Negative 12 points for opening your mouth.
Let's see.
I started negative 10, so I don't know.
This is true. Oh dear God. I have the Chargers going to Denver. Chargers are so poopy. Denver's got great defense. And it's hard to play in that stadium. So I'm going to go Denver, and for 4 points on Denver. Commish.
Well, on the short season, even though the Chargers just did have their bye week, they've only given up 50 points on the season, which is 12.5 per game, and yet somehow they're 2-2.
Wow.
So if the Chargers can find a way to lose this game, they will. I got 11 points on Bo Nix telling Sean Payton, my play's better than yours.
Good. It's good. Groady.
I love when he was asked about that exchange, and he goes, "Oh, he told me I love you, and I said I love you too."
I got 9 points on the Chargers.
No, 9 on the Chargers. Yeah.
Yep.
Good deal. The Icehouse.
Yeah, I gotta take the Chargers in this one. 7.
7.
I do like that Denver D, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It can't be good forever.
Agree. And it's the division team. That makes sense. Skinnnns.
Yeah, I'm going to take the underdog for this divisional game. So it's the Broncos. And it's sitting at a 3. So there's a chance for a push. So I'm going to put a 2 on it.
It's a deuce on Elway. 4 horse. Back up to the top here. Las Vegas hosting Pittsburgh. Commish.
I don't know what the actual spread is, so I have 1 point on Pittsburgh.
-3 Steelers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll end up changing it to whatever it ends up being, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's defense is good enough to almost stop Dak Prescott, and Gardner Minshew's no Dak Prescott.
Groady.
Yeah, Devontae Adams walked out. The Raiders are a mess. They're even talking about potentially firing their head coach after loving him when he stepped in. So, yeah, I got 10 points on the Steelers.
10 points on the Steelers. Icehouse.
I'll drop a deuce on the Steelers.
Drops the deuce on the Steelers. Man, someone grab some CLR. Skins.
Coincidentally, I also have a deuce on the Steelers.
Oh my God, it's a poopy nation for the Steelers. Dude.
Playoff in Pittsburgh.
I like a sixer on the Steelers. So I'll go Steelers as well. Groady, you have, oh boy, Carolina hosting Atlanta. What is the spread on this? It's 6 in favor of the Falcons.
I got 4 points on the Falcons.
4 on them Falcons. Icehouse?
I'll take 3 on the Falcons.
3 on the Falcons. Skinns?
Looking at 6 points right now on MGM. I only have an 11 or a 13 left. I might have to go back and change this to something weaker because I don't know if Atlanta can do it, but give me Atlanta for now for 11.
Atlanta for
Anyone
11?
can do it. If the Bears can steamroll them, who the fuck can't?
Yeah.
This is Kirk Cousins non-prime time. He's the prime time king now.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirk
Now
Cousins
Cousins
is
is the non-prime time. Now Cousins is the non-prime time.
Oh, I see. I see.
Middle time.
I will go Atlanta for a 13 spot. I thought I had a 13.
Wow.
I thought I had a 13 elsewhere. I had a 13 on. I must have switched those. I'm going to switch. Sorry, I meant a 12 on Atlanta. Commish.
I got 5 on Hotlanta. Carolina's hot garbage.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly for that. Icehouse, you have the last one here. The Bungles are going to the G-Men in New York.
Oh, I got to go with 1 of the Bengals. I mean, yeah.
1 on the Bengals, all right?
I see Joe Burrow finally have a fucking game, but it's like, why did it take, 5 weeks? But whatever, 1 point on. I don't care.
I agree. Skinns.
Yeah, if the freaking Bengals defense could do anything, I feel like the only reason the Giants have even been close or won any games is because their defense is what keeps them in it. They can't score touchdowns. So as long as the Bengals can hold them off on touchdowns, give me 13 on the Bengals.
13 on the Bengals. All right. I just switched. I moved my Denver pick to only being worth 1 point. I'm going to put 4 points on this one. Does anyone know if Malik Neighbors is
I don't know. Good question.
No idea, sir.
He had a concussion on the last Thursday night game and missed this last weekend. So I'm going to assume that he is back. The Bengals defense.
And the Giants won without him. Jesus Christ, that team pisses me off.
Yeah. I'm going to put 4 points on the Giants. I think the Bengals have some problems at defense now, and we'll have to see if the Giants can capitalize. Commish.
Yeah. The Bengals defense was able to stop fucking Derrick Henry for 4 quarters. Unfortunately, they had to play a 5th. And there's nobody near the talent of Derrick Henry on those G-men. I got 7 points on the Bengals.
7 points on the Bengals. And then Groady with the last pick.
Injury reports Wednesday, so if there's no update on Malik Neighbors, I'll probably change to the Bengals if he's still out. But right now I got 8 points on the G-men.
8 points on them G-men for that. Cool deal for that. Make sure you save your picks. And folks, that'll be all for today. If you around the horn wise, the commissioner leads with 50 points. Icehouse second place with 32, playing with a minus 10-point deficit to start the game. Skinns at 30 points, Groady at 25. That'll do it all for today. Happy birthday, Sippy Cup. We will see you next week. See you later. Bye.